Alright, I'm going to try to do this in one take because that shit is bouncing. I really need a tripod. Let's get to the point. So, you clicked on this video if you just got skates and you need to know, how do I get these on my feet and get out the door and start skating for the first time? So, I would say fresh out of the box. Obviously, these are not fresh out of the box skates. These are just my regular, everyday skates. They are Candy Girls. They're pretty cheap. They're about $100, so I definitely recommend them as a starter skate. I have not upgraded them yet. I do have another pair of skates that I can talk about later, but currently they have the luminous wheels on them, glow in the dark, white light. They have the cushions that came with them. They have these, I think Sure Grip toe stops. They're just regular Bolton toe stops. And then these derby laces or whatever. So basically everything that you can change on this skate other than the cushions, I've changed. But these still, fresh out of the box, these are good beginner skates. And I would always recommend you starting with something a little bit cheaper before going into the higher quality skates, just because skating is, a hobby that involves your body and it's a sport and stuff like that. And if it is not something that you end up enjoying, or it's not a way that you like your body to move, then I wouldn't want you to spend like $400 on a pair of skates. I mean, but it is your money, and the resale value on skates is pretty high right now. So I mean, I don't know. I just really like these cheap skates. They're really good. They're very stiff. I can do a review on them later. But okay, you just get your skates out of the package and you're like, I want to put skates on. Let's go skate. Alright, first thing you're going to want to do is check if your wheels roll. There are three things that you can change on your skates, three things you want to check before you get rolling for the first time. And that is like your plate, your trucks, your toe stop, make sure it's bolted in, or if it is a screw in, make sure it's screwed in tight or whatever, and your wheels. And you use that with a skate tool. You can loosen all this stuff up with a skate tool. I would definitely recommend you buying this if you are getting skates. If you're getting skates, you need a skate tool. And if you're getting skates, you need pads. You need pads. I would highly recommend knee pads and wrist guards. These are from 888. They're not that expensive. But also, with the internet and the fact you're watching me on this, a lot of people in cities and stuff have a skating community. You can go on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, you can go on fucking all social media basically, and you can find groups who skate together, who might have extra skate tools, who might have extra guards for you or whatever. I know I have 2 sets of guards of guards? Yeah, guards? I have 2 sets of guards or whatever. And and for certain types of skating, you don't always need to have pads. Pads. You don't always have to have pads on, but I would say if you've never skated before, this is your first time skating, you've got skates out of the box and you're watching this video, I would say you need knee pads and wrist guards, and I can talk more about that at the end. So yeah, basically, you're going to want to make sure that your wheels are rolling and that they can roll for a pretty long while. These bearings are kind of dirty and honestly kind of old, and they're not rolling as much as they could. And also stock bearings that you're going to get out of the box probably won't roll as much, but they still should get a nice decent roll going. If your wheel is rolling I'm tightening it up just to show you, if your wheel is rolling this, and it's coming to a stop after just a few seconds, it's too tight. And I didn't realize that until a few months into skating, but you want your wheels to be a little bit you want them to be tight or whatever, but you don't want them, you want them to continuously roll. And I can talk about that more later, but you want them to be, you know, about this level of rolling or whatever. But they shouldn't, you know, if you shake them, they shouldn't sound like anything. They should still be, you know, pretty stable. A little bit of wiggle is okay, but that's something you can adjust as you get better at skating. But I would say fresh out of the box, you just want these to roll nice and not a lot of, you know, wiggles, not a lot of wiggles. And then, okay, after that, you're gonna wanna check your plate. Whoop! And the way to do that is to just get your skate on a flat surface and roll it. And check if your skate veers off at all. Sometimes with cheaper skates, the plate can be mounted not straight, and if your plate isn't straight, it can, you know, veer off to one side. But also, that can happen if your trucks are fucked up or way too loose, which probably shouldn't happen because, like, out of the factory, they usually tighten this shit up a ton, which is why you need to loosen your wheels, and a lot of times you need to loosen the trucks. But I would say before you put your skates on, loosen your truck about like 2 quarter turns and check your trucks and how much they're moving by putting pressure on your skates. And I don't know if you can see this, but I can wiggle my wheels back and forth. And that is what your body weight is going to do while you're skating, is wiggle back and forth. So that's what turns you. That's like your edges basically, you know? So you're gonna want to be able to have some flex. And if your trucks are too tight, you're not going to be able to like move. You're just going to be going straight, which can be bad if you need to, say, turn out of the way of something or carve down hills or whatever. So you want your trucks to be a little, you know, usable. And you can do that with the same skate tool by like loosening your trucks, same way, like lefty loosey, righty tighty. You know, right now I'm loosening them. This would be me tightening them. So yeah, and that's kind of, and as you can see now that they're tighter, they're not flexing as much compared to when I'm loosening them like this. Now they're flexing a lot more. I would say with cheaper skates and stiffer boots, these boots are very, very, very stiff, but I don't mind them, and I think they're pretty good for beginner skates. You can break them in pretty like hard, and they're good for park skating, I think, too. But it can be really hard to transfer that energy into your plate. So sometimes with cheaper wheels or in cheaper plates and just a cheaper skate in general, you might want to have a little bit looser trucks, but trucks are something you can adjust while you after you put your skates on, because you're gonna want to feel the difference and notice that. But anyway, so you loosened your wheels, you loosened your trucks, you check that your toe stop is on right, you use an Allen wrench if it's a bolt-on, and then a crab tool if it's not. I do not have skates that have a crab tool like, screw-in toe stop, so I can't show you that. And then the last thing is, this is the last thing, that I feel like this is very important. Before you put your skates on, unlace them completely. Unlace them completely. Don't try to shove your foot in the skate because you're so excited, you know, to go skate. Like, the way your laces and lacing setup and stuff like that can really highly determine, you know, like, your skating experience. These are all things I can make videos on later, but like, completely like loosen them all the way out, put your foot in, and just, you know, it's gonna take probably like 10 minutes, and just make sure they're, you know, it's formed to your foot. And yeah, then you can start the breaking in process, the slowly learning how to skate process. And if you guys have any requests for videos, I'm probably gonna film some stuff about how to use these pads and wrist guards, and how to fall effectively, and how to just get skating like right when you have your skates, and feel confident on skates basically right after, you know, you put them on. So let me know, follow my fucking social medias, and yeah.